result we hoped for, and not really the result necessarily that the performance on the pitch showed?
I just think it was the most bizarre of games, and you know, it's difficult to put into words, really, to be honest with you. Hampton had 2 shots and scored 3 goals, got in the box 4 times. We had 78% possession, they had 22, and they won the game 3-0. So I'm definitely going to put that down to a bit of an anomaly. I've watched it back. The goals conceded were really poor, really poor. Bren's a bit unlucky, stepping up for the first goal, not getting an offside. The last 2 goals were abysmal, poor defending. Look, we were out of position. We were throwing the kitchen sink at it. But if I look at our last third actions, I think we put 45 balls in the box. We created great chances for Jason, Alfie. I didn't think our deliveries were as good as they were. When I watched it back, our deliveries were really good. And I spoke about maybe me picking the wrong formation for the game, and realistically, I'm one of those people, I always like to nitpick and think, could I have done anything better? But it was such an anomaly. I love Jules and Ruben, who was with us, the coach. They're great people, but in reality, the game plan hasn't beaten us, and we beat ourselves with, we in front of goal. We didn't take our chances. We had some clear chances and things off the line. We had 4 to 5 chances that you would take any other day of the week. Jason first half, far post. Alfie glancing head. He's only got a glance. It's a goal. Charlie on the line. So we created more than enough to score goals, and the defending was poor. We need to remember we wanted to address that defending. We bought in Louis Annesley, closed season, and it's an area we look to improve as a club, and we've got a little bit unlucky there. Louis I think he's played 2 matches since he's been here. He's not ever been injured. He's a young lad, and he's been out 6 weeks. He's literally, as we speak, just completed his first running session since that injury. Louis sort of went down with that 6-week that tear at the same time as DG, Dan Gallagher, as well. So we've been a little bit light back there, but to be honest with you, whether or not anyone played back there, the goals we conceded lacked organisation and discipline. One of the things I always talk about before matches is, and I said it Saturday before the game, I think our possession so far has been where we want it to be, 70-odd%. And we are a team that builds things on possession. And people can say, well, the only stat you want the goals. I get that. Obviously, we want that as well. But we want to be an attractive team. We've had the highest possession in most leagues we've played in, and that has translated into goals. We were the highest scorers in the South last year, finished 3 points off the title. So we're work in progress, I think, at the back. Obviously, Louis Story's signed, which is a tremendous signing for the club, and we'll see him tomorrow night, no doubt, during this game. I think we are ultimately, whether people like it or not, we are everybody's big ticket. That is the bottom line. I'm not saying that from a big time point of view. That's not me. I'm just being honest. We are everybody's big ticket. Teams will plan longer. They'll plan harder. They'll try not to lose as opposed to win. And that's a challenge we have to get used to. And I've got to be really straight and honest about that. Do you know what I mean? And we are a dominant team. We've got great players, and we back ourselves. So we are a big ticket. And we can expect more of that.
Yeah, and you mentioned there we've been without a few of our players going into the start of the season. Dan Pybus, Niall McManus as well, Jordan Norber-Williams in defence also. What's the latest from those guys? When can we expect to see them back?
We've been short at the back, like Jordan's 6 weeks. Dan Pybus is running again now, as is Louis Annesley. Niall will be out of his boot in a week. But yeah, we shrunk down our squad that was really big. We shrunk it down close season significantly. Brought in the new boys. And we've, I've not really wanted to keep talking about it because I feel like you attract the worst, but we have had a lot of injuries. Yeah, that is where that is really. But look, the goals we conceded shouldn't have been conceded no matter who played. Both games, across both games. I've got no fear about keeping a clean sheet in our next 5 games. I believe that the boys would address it. It's a little bit unlike us, to be honest, in terms of really poor goals. I think it's, we don't really concede massive mistakes like we have. I'm not expecting to see it again. And I think the boys are in a good spot. We've had a good chat Sunday, this morning. I just think we don't fear having a target on our back. I don't care if it takes us 8 games to win 1. We've got to come to terms with, being that sort of like scalp. That's what we are. We are a scalp. We've got to come to terms with teams that make it difficult for us to win, and come to our place to not lose. Chipping them at their place, defended their penalty box for 95, 100 minutes. Hampton, Jules, he even done it on the pitch before the game, literally just 6-yard box, We've got to find ways around that. I'm resilient, I'm patient. We've also got to find our feet with our new players and the different things we're doing as well. We've got to find our feet with me not being in the dugout, which is different for the boys, new coaches. So we are work in progress still. But, there's only one thing worse than being spoken about, and that's not being spoken about. And, I'm up for the challenge. The boys are. We will have great moments this season. And I look at our loyal fans. They're tremendous. I think about last year. Last year was just not a great year to be a fan. It was up and down, and you name it. And then I just remember little things them seeing those loyal fans when we get them wins. When we went to Boreham Wood in the rain, away in the Ordinary League fixture, and we played them off the park, and we won the game, and the players that Pryor scored and slid in front of the fans. There's 500 or something in that stand on the side, and in that moment you look round and you think, this is, football repays itself. Do you know what I mean? And our true fans really understand that even if it takes a while for us to get going, overcome some of these challenges that we're getting in this division. I'll be honest with you, if you're behind the ball at Meadowbank and the pitch is slower than a tortoise, mate. I'm just being honest. This is the bottom line. The pitch, you've only got to look at the way the ball moves, bounces. You can't set your teammate and slide off the back. It is poor. And teams that sit deep there on that slow pitch, that's what you've got to do, isn't it? That is what I would do there. So we're up for the challenge. We've got to work out how to overcome it all. It's a long way to go in the season. And regardless of what happens tomorrow night, we'll continue to work towards getting a really good team that the fans recognise, that can pick up points. And what none of our supporters should ever do is think there's a divine right to win. The fact that everybody else, expects us to win is the best form of flattery you can get. The fact that 1 or 2 people want to jump on it when we don't is the best form of flattery you can get. It's amazing. It's amazing that people see us as a machine and occasionally want us to get beat. Obviously, loads of people don't. I love that. That just shows how much we've achieved, how far we've come. And you know, we will always, you know, find a way to work back towards where we want to be. So that's where we are. Slough Town.
Slough Town tomorrow. Quick turnaround. Hopefully a chance to put that result to bed and kick on now for the season.
Yeah, I know Slough had some really bad news, so I've not spoke to Scotty, but I've kind of left them. But I know they've had some really sad news at the club, I believe, with their with one of their key staff, and obviously thoughts go out. You know, I can only imagine that was in our club. So that's my primary thought, and I think we want to make sure we do a minute's silence tomorrow night for that. But yeah, looking forward to Slough. Their fans are good people. They're good people, and they're loyal as well. Listen, it's one of those, right? It's like it's eat, sleep, repeat, really. We know what Scotty's teams are about. We understand what they're about. This is about us, really. It's about us. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be scenarios. I think the only thing we've got to do is everybody's got to get together. Fans, boys, all of us. Trust the process, if you like. Trust in how hard we're working. And, you know, I'm sure the results have come. I mean, our stats are outstanding outside of the one that matters, which is the goals for and goals against.
That's it. And just lastly, it was a good crowd on Saturday. It'd be great to see as many of those guys back down tomorrow, support the team, because their support really does make a difference. The noise coming out of the bank.
Phenomenal. The flags going, the noise, we just need, you know, it's so good to get all of our regular fans, the irregular fans. Obviously there's not many Premier League games and stuff tomorrow night, so yeah, ideally we're putting a huge crowd in there for Tuesday night. First game under the lights at Meadowbank. That's what we need, that's what we want. I know that Slough will follow their team. They're very loyal, they're great fans, so it'd be a good game at Meadowbank. And you know, it's that time of year where, you know, all the games, everyone's got something to play for. Everyone's got something to scrap for. So that is where we are. But if it comes down to effort, then you know, then we'll get 3 points tomorrow night.